Hi, I'm Paul Salmon. I'm a spiritualist medium. My guest today is Sheena Cundy, musician and author now, Sheena.
Looks like it, doesn't it, Paul?
It does, because we're going to be talking about your new book,
Yeah.
The Madness and the Magic. And it is a bit mad. Where did you get this idea from?
Oh,
Tell
yeah.
me a bit about the book.
Okay, I wrote the book, the first draft for the book just over 3 years ago, as part of an online challenge called NaNoWriMo, which is to write a novel in a month. So it's always in the month of November every year. So you've got 30 days to write 50,000 words. So I found out about this about a week before the beginning of November. So whereas some people have loads of time to plan and plot and whatever it is their story, I didn't have that amount of time, so I had to kind of pull out of the ether very quickly an idea. So basically I moulded it around myself.
I was going to ask you, is it based on anyone in particular?
Yeah, it's semi-autobiographical, yes, I suppose. And plus the fact at the time I was going through kind of that transition into cronehood, which is the wise woman in the craft, but it's basically the perimenopause, which some women, I won't get all women with you now, but anyway, it doesn't matter, no. Yeah. But some women sail through it, some women don't. Yeah. I had a bit of a rough time, so I had to do something to cheer myself up, really, basically, and turn it around. So that's what that is. Yeah. That's my remedy.
And yes, your book's been described as having pathos, magic, humour, a bit tragic in places, sadness. Yeah. But good reviews, you know. And I've even read that people have had tears of. You know, how's it feel to get feedback like this? How you've touched people?
It's fantastic because first and foremost, I wrote the book for myself, you know, to cheer myself up, give myself a little bit of entertainment, and it works out that it was probably the best time I had on my own for years. Yeah. And that's not a condescending remark to my husband at all or anybody else, but I think that, you know, when you spend a lot of time on your own, writing is a very solitary pursuit, and if you're writing serious stuff all the time, well, for me personally, that there's nothing that bores me more than, you know, I don't mind. I do write non-fiction, and in my songwriting, you know, it's kind of serious. But when you're writing for any length of time, the amount of work that's involved in a novel, and bearing in mind that's only 50,000 words, so it's not really very long in sort of novel, you know, book terms, really. It's quite a short novel. I couldn't bear just being in that sort of state of seriousness the whole time, so that's why the book fluctuates between highs and lows and in-betweens, you know. If things were getting a bit serious and a bit sad and a bit traumatic, then I would think, oh God, no, I've got to change this, come on, let's lighten it up. Something funny was going to happen, you know, and that's the way it carried me, the energy carried me through the book.
Someone did say that you seem to have made magic accessible to other people.
Well, that's a lovely thing to say, actually. And if that's what it is, then surely that's a good thing. That's got to be a good thing, isn't it?
Must be, yeah.
Because magic is a wonderful thing. You know, magic to me is something that's very spiritual, as well as being very earthly. You know, that connection with the earth, with the elements, but it's also something that's heartfelt and comes from inside. And I believe that if you've got that kind of outlook, that magical outlook on life, then everything that you come into contact with, everything you think about, you feel and you do becomes an effect of that magical way of being.
Of course, you've introduced a vicar in your book. Because I don't want to give too much of the book away. I want everyone to go and buy it. But give us a brief summary. If you can.
The vicar, he's very attractive. He looks like Johnny Depp, and he plays guitar. So obviously that, you know, you can see those similarities there with me because I've got a thing about guitarists. That's why I married one. So, yeah, he plays guitar, he looks like Johnny Depp, and he kind of, she's Minerva, who's my main female character. She's out to snare him in any way that she can. And, you know...
By using her charms in more way than...
She does use her charms, yes.
Yeah.
Magical charms.
Do you know, I can see this being a play.
Yeah, do you know what? I'd love it to be performed. I'd love to see it performed somehow, some way. I really would. Yeah,
I can see it being a play or even a musical, you know.
A musical?
I've got big ideas for you, Sheena, for this book. And,
really? Okay.
Have you thought about a follow-up?
Oh, I've started it.
Have you?
I've started it, yeah, and because when I finished writing it, I thought, I wanted to finish it so that anything, it left it open. Didn't want to close it completely down, the story. And I feel that in writing that, I've only really just scratched the surface of those characters. It's just really introducing it.
Yeah.
Introducing those people to the world, and then at the end of the book it's like, well, what happens now then? Where do they go? What happens to them? Where does the story go now? So that's where I've got lots of ideas, but it's the time, Paul.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what it's like writing, don't you? You've just written a book, haven't you?
Yeah. You interview you today, someone else tomorrow.
It's a tough life.
But have you got ideas for other books completely different to this one?
I have, yes. I've got a work in progress, which I'm going to be serialising on the Moon Books blog, which is what I did with that.
Okay.
That started as a serialisation, which my publisher, Trevor Greenfield from Moon Books, took me on as a risk, I suppose, really, because when you don't know what somebody's going to do, where the story's going to go. But he'd read the synopsis. He said, "Let's go for it. It sounds like fun.
Yeah.
We'll put it up a month at a time, a chapter at a time every month on their blog. And then when you finish putting all the chapters up and it's finished, you can submit. We won't guarantee that we'll publish you, but you can submit it." So, which is what I did, and they did publish me, and I was very fortunate. But now I'm kind of a Moon Books author, I suppose.
Yeah.
There are opportunities there to continue that kind of thing. So I've suggested doing a book, a non-fiction book, on your magical nature, which is basically discovering the witch in you, and working with that from a pagan perspective. So it's psychic development from a pagan perspective.
That would be interesting.
Yeah. I haven't written it yet. But I've got lots of ideas. Yeah.
Well, why don't you come back here and tell us about it?
Yeah.
Because even though I'm a spiritualist, I'm quite open. I know many friends in the pagan world.
Yeah, I know you do.
And I'm really interested
When
in
we
it.
first met you, you were a Morris dancer. And if that's not pagan...
Anyway, yeah, I've hung up my bells now though, Sheena.
Have you?
Yeah, but...
Okay.
Anyway, but how can we get hold of a copy of this? Well, no, I've got my copy now.
You have? Well, you seem to have anyway.
Oh, yeah, I have. So,
I keep giving these books away.
You've got to sell books to the public.
Yeah, okay. You can get it on Amazon. You can get it via Moon Books, the Moon Books site. Yeah. Okay. But the best thing probably to do is to go onto my blog, Sheena Crafty Chrome blogspot.com.
Okay.
But that,
Yeah.
It's fairly well accessible. It's in a few shops as well.
Right.
I don't know which ones. I know one shop that it's in.
Who did the illustration on the front cover?
Oh, yeah, my sister, Tanya.
Oh, who did the cards,
yeah.
You came on the show once before.
It's a lovely picture, isn't it?
Gorgeous.
Yeah, I knew that I wanted to have one of the tarot. It's modelled on one of the tarot cards, which is the Hanged Man, which features quite early on in the story as a kind of a ridiculous kind of situation that happens with Minerva outside a greenhouse, involving a spider.
Where do you get your imagination from?
Where do I get my imagination from?
Or who?
I don't know. You just open up and I've always loved stories.
And have you got a moral or message in this book, in the storyline, Sheena?
I think that's a good question actually, because I wrote that cheer myself up, and if it cheers other people up and entertains them and gives them something to think about, then that's a bonus. But I think very much writing is a personal thing, and when you give something like a story, a song, and you send it out into the public domain, then I feel that it's up to the people that receive that piece of art, if you like, how they interpret it. And if they interpret it in a way that is meaningful to them, i.e. if it cheers them up, if it inspires them in any way, if it makes them laugh, it makes them cry, if it touches them, then I suppose that's the message.
And it has touched them. Yeah, I do, because I've heard about these reviews you've been having. It has touched people, and that must come back to you, you know.
Oh, it's priceless.
Yeah.
You know, because for anybody that's wanting to, a creator, you know, but when we're using our creativity, if you get encouragement and praise, it's like anything, isn't it? If you get a little bit of praise, somebody says well done, you think, oh, I must be doing something right. It gives you that. It gives you that energy to keep going, and that is what it's doing for me at the moment. You know, all these good reviews are wonderful.
Excellent.
And it just makes it so much more special, really, and it gives me that fuel to write the next one.
Which you will.
I will do, yeah.
Then you can come back and tell us all about it again.
Yeah.
In the meantime, go Google Sheena, go Google, or down to your shop and order The Madness and the Magic, Sheena Cundy. And this is my copy. Thank you very much. Which you're going to sign for me.
I will do, Paul. I will do.
And thanks for coming in. Lovely to see you.
Pleasure, absolute pleasure. Thank you.
And see you again sometime.
Yeah. Thank you.